Several years ago, when I was about 9 years old, I lived in this neighborhood with my family where nothing passes you by. You will know what is going on because everyone was talking about it. So you would hear too. As young as I was, 9 years old, I knew the things going on in families around, and well, there were some that were not hidden. You just know, you hear the noise and you hear the talks. Hi, I am so delighted to be back, and today I am going to tell you a story. This story is not a story that I am happy to tell. It is the story of a boy that I call Junior, and sometimes I refer to him as the boy with the sad smile. He was a boy living with his family in the same neighborhood, and everyone knew his father as a serial beater. He would beat his wife so much that she would fall sick for days. She rarely came out. Once in a while I saw her, and every time I saw her, she was just a very pathetic sight, you know. Junior and his sister were like outcasts in the neighborhood, not that which the neighborhood made them, but that which they unconsciously made themselves. I remember vividly that sometimes when I was playing outside with some of my friends, play with sand, playing husband and wife and all of that, I would see Junior and his sisters pass by. His sisters were about our age, and Junior was about 4 or 5 years. And his sisters always had this very grim expression. They never smiled. But Junior would always look over his shoulder at us, and you would know that he wanted to join us. His smile always looked so sad. I could never forget. And his sisters would drag him along. It was as if they felt like they were not a part of every other person, like they knew that, or they felt that they were different, that they could not mingle, they could not play, they were not allowed to, they were not supposed to. It was so very sad. And every time Junior's father beat his mother, everyone in the neighborhood would talk about it for a long time. It was not a hidden secret. And it was a time when social media was not a thing, or even mobile devices, and we did not have, lots of organizations that now cater to people who suffer domestic violence. And so people would just talk about how, wicked the man was, this and that. And of course, there were people who would say, maybe she just had to treat him better. She had to be more responsible, more respectful, and all of that. And that, at least she should stay for the children. But I always wondered why she stayed. Like, she was going through so much. Her children were suffering. She was suffering. Yet she stayed in that marriage, And one day, the man beat her so much this time. Like, I heard, he beat her so much that she felt terribly sick, and a few days later we heard that she had died. Not so long afterward, the man moved his family, the children from the neighborhood, they moved away, and I just never forgot. And I wondered how the children fared after that time. I wondered if Junior's father married another wife, and if he continued with the way he was with his ex-wife. I wondered how Junior's sisters fared growing up. I wondered if they hated men. I wondered if they use the popular slang men are, how people say it. And I wondered if they ever healed from that pain of seeing their father, beat their mother to death. I wondered about Junior too. I wondered what kind of man he grew up to be. I wondered if he ever healed from the pain of his childhood, from the trauma. I wondered if he grew up to be a man like his father, because no matter how he felt about his father, the man was the first example of a man that he knew. He was learning how to be a man from him. And it is very possible that you can disapprove of what somebody is doing. You can hate someone so much that you end up unconsciously being exactly like them if you do not work on yourself, if you do not get somebody else to give you a better example, if you do not heal from your pain, seek help, seek support. And I just wondered what kind of man he grew up to be. And I just want to say this to you, there man, watching this, that please heal from your pain, from your trauma. Because who knows, maybe Junior's father saw his own father beat his mother. Maybe Junior's father had pains that he never talked about. Maybe he had issues that tormented him, that made him that way with his wife, things he never dealt with. And if Junior does not deal with the things that has happened to him, the things that he saw growing up, who knows what kind of man he might grow up to be. So I am saying to you, deal with your pain, deal with your trauma, because your sons are watching you. You are their first example of what a man should be. They are learning from you. Deal with your pain, seek help, seek support where you can get, so that your sons do not end up bearing the burden of your pain all the days of their lives.